Welcome to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis R. Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist. Here on the Intuitive Therapist podcast, we are well into 2019, to the month of January, and I'll tell you what, this year is going to be an amazing year for everybody, and I'm excited to hear from everybody what changes are happening, because this really, last year, 2018, was a year where we grew into ourselves, where the universe beckoned us to get rid of what didn't work for us, to get real with ourselves. This really, if I could scale it down, and live in our truths. And I feel like in so many ways people have up-leveled their vibration. I feel like so many people have realized the value in being who they are, that they are good enough, and that if anybody can't see that it's the other person's problem, not theirs. And so we need to just move on. And so I feel like 2019 is the year of everybody doing great things and moving in different directions. And as I was thinking about that, I always hope that what I share with you somehow makes your life a little bit better. If there's a way for me to do that, I'm going to find a way to do that. And what I know about doing that is teaching you new ways of thinking, new ways of doing, new ways of perceiving that could possibly guide you in a better direction and inspire you. I was thumbing through Facebook one day, and I saw this post, and it fascinated me, and so I decided to read it. Now, the content I'm going to share with you, I will say up front, is not mine. It is from dailypositiveinfo.com. It was a Facebook post, and I wasn't able to secure the author. So what I'm going to talk to you today, the title of it was developed from this post called "The Sooner You Accept These 13 Brutal Truths About Life, the Better Your Life Will Become." So this content, I'm going to add to it, but I will say up front, it is not mine. But my hope is that when I pull in information from other authors, that you will benefit just as much from hearing their words of wisdom. We all know that life is hard, and it's not all flowers and roses like, you're sold in the Hollywood movies. There are a lot of difficulties that we have to go through. And the best way to live life is really by knowing certain things that are universal truths. You can't deny them, and if you deny them for too long, you're really up for a rough time. I always tell people, it's like, if you argue with the truth, you're going to be in pain. It's kind of like if you could say to yourself, it is what it is, now what? There's a 3-step system I teach people, which is, 1, you are able to identify experience based on the facts. Okay? For example, I'm divorced. I have 3 children. I have X amount of money. I do this for a job. Or I'm a business owner. I have this many employees. I had to fire one. Whatever it is, whatever the issue is, state the facts. Then step 2 is be aware of what you feel and the label you give yourself because of it. Could be, I'm a failure. I'm inadequate. I'm not a good boss. I'm going to lose all my money. That kind of thing, whatever it is. And then quickly jump into step 3, which is the most powerful step, which is, okay, what do I have to learn about this experience? What's in it for me? What do I do? What do I do with it? Always ask yourself what you do with something that happens for you. So, to go through life smoothly, you need to accept the following truths wholeheartedly because I can tell you it's for your best. The first truth is that everyone and everything that we love will be lost. It really is a harsh truth, but we can't avert our minds from it. Someday you'll lose the people you love. I know that very personally. Everything you've put your effort into will be lost too. There's nothing you can do about it. So mend your relationships. Value the moments you have with yourself and your loved ones. It may be all gone in the next moment, so cherish it. In other words, don't take anything for granted. Live in the now. Number two, even if you're good, expect that bad things will happen to you. Unfortunately, it's a very sad thing, but if you're good, bad things will happen to you. The good die young, and the ones who are very brave perish easily. It's just how things work. What we can do is not let them die without cause or purpose. It's one of the hardest things to understand how it is that, quote unquote, bad people get away with so much. And those of us that are good, we have to work so hard to not only have what we have, but keep what we have. When you think about the concept of fairness and justice, I'm going to be straight up with you. Here's another truth. And this is not in this article. There is no such thing as fair. No such thing. I could tell you when I get upset the most is when I feel like something's been unjustly done to me and I can't resolve it immediately. And it is beyond frustrating. That's really my only trigger, is that something that I feel like is unjust. But then I have to say to myself, look, it is what it is. Now what am I going to do with this? How am I going to change my perspective so that I don't feel pain anymore because of what somebody else has done or the outcome of something that I felt like wasn't fair? I always ask myself those questions. Number three, the third truth, life won't be fair. Don't ask for fairness. Life isn't meant to be fair. The best people don't always get what they deserve, and things don't always go our way. The least we can do is have a positive mind and enjoy whatever life gives us. If you ever get stuck on fair or unfair, I promise you're wasting your time. It is a fruitless conversation to have with yourself or anybody else. Accept what is, move on, try to figure out how to be a better version because of it. Truth number 4, don't expect people to be nice. And I'll tell you this, everybody's out for themselves, period. I don't care how loving or giving you are, at some point, at some part of your day, you are out for yourself. That's just how life is. There are rude people out there. However nice you may be, however nicely you treat them, they're going to be rude because they aren't happy. And so they don't know the wisdom that you know, which is, here's my life, and I could totally change my life when I want to. People who have been in far worse conditions and have had nothing have become amazing successes in some way because they changed something in their life, whether it was a perspective, a belief, a focus, an action. So don't expect other people to change, no matter what relationship you're in, even if it's an encounter, in the grocery store, or a colleague, or a friend, or a family member, or a romantic partner. Don't expect anybody to change. It's wasted energy. Just all I want you to do is continue to be kind. That is the best thing that you can do for not only yourself, but for the universe. I'll give you an example. I remember years ago, I was in a shopping center. It was around lunchtime, and it was crazy. Everybody was trying to park, and it was, like I said, it was around lunchtime during the day. And so I had stopped to wait for this person to come out of the parking spot that I wanted to get, and this person took a long time. And so there were cars lining up behind me, and I'm like, oh, good Lord, everybody's going to be mad. So this woman behind me, she was furious. You could see her like I was looking in my rear view, and she was like flipping me off, screaming, yelling, beeping her horn. And I just sat there, and I was like, okay. So the woman pulled the woman in front of me pulled out, and all of a sudden, the space to my right opened up. And like I said, all of a sudden, I felt God with me, and I just felt this peace. I was originally kind of pissy, but I felt a sense of peace. So I pulled in, she got out of her car, slammed her door. I got out of my car, and I was guided to look at her and say, thank you so much for your patience. I know how frustrating that was. You're real sweet to do that. And she looked at me, and she was caught off guard so much. It literally, she was so confused because she was ready to rip me up one side and down the other. And she looked at him, she goes, you're welcome. And I said, I hope you have a really great day. And she said, thank you, you too. So I always get tickled about that story because it's so powerful that people bring their stuff to you and you don't have to get sucked into it. Just remain kind. Truth number 5, we're never going to be perfect. Okay, y'all, I will tell y'all in all honesty, I struggle with my inner perfectionist. And it comes from long ago. I know it comes from kind of having been bullied and certain things that happened as I was growing up in my family. But I still struggle with that. And I feel like at times that I've got to make sure that what I put out there is quality, it's good, so that nobody can criticize me for it. I can't risk giving people anything to criticize me for. So I hold myself to an impossible standard because not everybody likes me, not everybody's going to agree with me, and not everybody is going to approve of what I do. But it's just something I struggle with. So we're not ever going to be perfect. Nobody is. So we have to stop looking for perfection. And when I say that to you, I'm really telling myself that too. And I really try hard to believe that because I know that as long as I try and I know that I'm living and acting with integrity every day, that I'm going to come across somebody or something that's going to help me be an even better version of myself. So I try, and I'm asking you to try to address your weaknesses and work on improving them so that they don't make your life any messier. If there's an area that you feel inadequate, I know I've worked on this part of myself. Years ago, I was in therapy. It comes up. My business coach helps me kind of refocus and be able to develop something that I know is going to be good. And I know that I carry those resources into my everyday life in some of the other areas where I don't feel so great about. So I always feel like, okay, what can I clean up that can make my life better? Because I ain't going to be perfect. I can just be me. Truth number 6, change will happen whether you like it or want it or not. Nothing is stable. It's one of those things that what I remember the saying, it says something like, the only thing that stays the same is change. That always exists is change. So you might think something, needs to be permanent, but in the next minute, everything's going to change. It's going to go upside down. Change is inevitable. And I ask you, embrace it. Embrace it, even though we may be in pain, even though it causes us discomfort, anxiety, worry. The best thing for you to do is embrace it and see where it takes you, because change ultimately is good. It is. I'm just telling you. Number 7, wasted time is lost forever. This is all about not living with regret. Time passes, y'all. It's gone. Time always flows, and it flows forward. It never comes back for you. So living with regret, it's one of the most hurtful things you could do for yourself, is to stay living in the past, wishing you shoulda, coulda, woulda. Because you can't. The only thing you can do is be centered in the now, do what you need to do in the now to be the best version of yourself so that you can continue to move forward in that direction. Once you've grown old, you're not going back to those times. So every second counts. Start managing your time better. It's not as hard as you think it is. And use every moment you can to be at peace and be in joy. Number 8, it's not always going to be the way you think it is or the way you think it will be. There's a saying, you plan and God laughs, right? You want to plan and plot everything out. I know so many people who are so meticulously controlling, micromanaging of their life and other people's lives because you feel like it will allay your anxiety and that you can truly create everything that happens in your life in your day. And I'm like, I think it's important to have structure and goals and things to do. But when you get so caught up in micromanaging everything, something's going to blow up in your face, right? So, and you may waste so much time trying to plan that you lose sight of what's going on now. So you plan, things don't work out, you look at what you need to revise, and you move forward. Number 9, it's not money, but time that's precious. How many of you have heard that one? We all need money to live. Money, the only thing money does, and I'll tell you this, I was talking with one of my clients who's very, very wealthy, and she was saying, you know what, Janis? Money has never brought me happiness. Money can make me happier because I can do more when I want to, but it doesn't buy happiness. And I always say the thing that money does is it allows you to indulge. And when you're able to indulge, you can do more, you can experience more. Those experiences can bring you happiness. But even more so, what's more important than money, even though it is a primary stressor for almost all of us, I'm not denying that, but what's more important really is time. Managing time, not wasting it on, foolish things, although we all have to do foolish things to really grow and mature and become who we need to be. But you know what? It's one of those things. I wish I had been taught to save more, to plan ahead more, because I think I would have had some earlier knowledge that would have helped me. All I want you to think about is that happiness comes from experiences, not from money. And money can always be made. Number 10, don't try to make everybody happy. You can't. Impossible. I work with a lot of people pleasers, and the one complaint that they have is that they struggle so badly with needing to please everybody. And what ends up happening is they become depressed or angry because they've denied what they've needed. And they resent themselves. They have self-loathing because they have either been coddled in such a way or reared in such a way that they needed to play this part, or they somehow figured out that they could not speak their piece. They could not own who they were. They could not be that. And so in order to avoid rejection, they just acted as if everything was fine and they could say yes to everything. But it comes back to haunt you. So truly, you can't make everybody happy. You'll always have somebody who's going to criticize you, somebody who will always try to stop you from doing what you'd always wanted to do, or somebody that is relying on you in some sort of codependent way for you to fix their life. You can't. They have to step up to their own life. So do your best to be happy in your own skin. When you value you, your life will shift and you will not put other people's needs before yours. If you struggle with this, reach out to me. I can help you. I work with a lot of women who struggle with this, or find somebody else, a coach, a therapist, to help you learn to let go of the pattern of pleasing, because ultimately you're the one that suffers. Number 11, to live comfortably, be productive. You got to be, you want to feel purposeful and have meaning, right? Because that's really, in order to feel fulfilled, you have to have purpose, to feel like you have something to live for, some reason, some why. And it's got to have meaning for you. I meet so many people who live empty lives. They go to jobs they hate. They have people in their lives who just take from them, and it's a constant struggle. I will never tell you we only have this one life, because you know what I believe. I believe we have lives and lives and lives, past lives and future lives. So I want to invite you to imagine if you didn't have any limitations, what would you love to wake up doing every day? Why would that allow you to feel purposeful and passion-filled? You may have a goal to pursue that'll lend you your life a meaning. Move forward in that. Even if that means getting training, even if that means making a whole monster shift. I remember being in graduate school however many years ago, a lot of years ago, and I remember meeting this one man who used to be in banking majority of his life. He decided to go back and get a master's degree in social work. Talk about a shift. But to live in comfort, be productive, and do everything to reach your goal. This next one is so important. And I feel like there are people who really truly know that they're doing this, and there are other people that go on with their day-to-day and they don't realize they're doing this. This rule, number 12, is stop existing and start living. There's a difference between existing and living. Living is experiencing. We are unfortunately pushed into a rat race very early on in our lives. And while competing in this race, we often forget to experience life. It's so difficult for so many people, especially when you're struggling to make money. You have to figure out a way to do that. And sometimes you hold 1, 2, 3 jobs, and your life just becomes about work or taking care of your children, and you're not really living. You're just existing. So I ask that you find some time every day, maybe it's 30 seconds, to stop and stand in place and breathe. And I want you to identify 1 to 3 things that you're thankful for. Look around you. Take a moment and experience life for once. There's a process that Tibetan monks use, and it's a specific way they drink tea. Their tea houses are built a certain way so that everybody enters. They have to crawl in. Everybody enters at the same level. I believe they take their shoes off. They sit at a table, only 3 at a table. The person who serves tea serves it in a particular way. They pick up the cup a particular way. They drink it in only 3 sips, and nobody talks. They relish in the experience of everything, how the cup feels, the smell of the tea, the heat from the tea, how it tastes in their mouth. Everything is cherished. So start experiencing life like that, and you'll definitely start living more, and you'll be getting away from just merely existing. Number 13, happiness is when you do something for others. I will tell you the number 1 way to get yourself out of feeling sadness, worry, anything negative in your life is to go do something for somebody else. Period. End of story. If you really think about whether or not you're happy, and if you say you're not, then go bake a cake, go donate your time, do something, call somebody and say, how can I help you today? So, when was the last time you found yourself really happy? Do you remember what actions led to you feeling happiness? To find your answers, fill the gap by helping somebody else improve their life. There's so much happiness that comes when you do for others, whether it's a smile, opening the door, letting somebody go first, saying please and thank you. When you're at the supermarket or you're in the department store and people are acting all, maybe they kind of are a little grouchy, it's really okay to look at somebody and say, how are you? I remember being at the post office, and in all honesty, post office people, they're not really the nicest, and they don't smile. They say, next, Shivit, what do you want? What do you want to do today? So I stopped this woman who called me up, and I said to her, I said, how are you? And she said, what can I help you with today? I said, no, but how are you today? And she paused, and she realized what I was doing. She says, I'm good, thank you. And it kind of changed her whole demeanor with me. That's what I love to do. And I said, I'm really good. Thank you so much for your help today. It's little things like that. But even if somebody's grieving, I'll tell you this, you tell somebody who's grieving, let me know how I can help. It's not going to happen. You have to be able to say, I'm here to help. What can I do for you? Whatever it is, give of yourself. I hope that these 13 truths, as straight up as they are, have helped you kind of put things in perspective. Life is hard, and it sucks a lot. The world is a harsh place. Everybody is out for themselves, and I am not trying to be negative Nelly here, but it's just true. That's how I live my life. But I know that the only way I can live a good life is if I choose to be good. Okay? And I want you to choose to be good and be kind. So I hope these truths have helped you. And if you'd like a reading or you're ready to change your life in some aspect of your life, reach out to me. You can call my office at 404-558-3971, or you can reach me via email at janis@janisrcohen.com. I'm happy to do a reading for you. Reach out in any aspect of your life. Hop on over to iTunes, please, and just rate and review my podcast. I love reading the reviews and love hearing from y'all with my voicemails and my emails. And I always tell y'all, and I mean this for sure, as this year starts, 2019, may this year be the most blessed year for you and everybody in your life. May this be the year that you do something that you haven't ever done before. May this year be the year of change for you. So I wish you a blessed day, a wonderful week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis R. Cohen. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend and subscribe, rate, and review at iTunes.